start? I think it's already 4:30.
Yes, sir.
Great. Namaste, my dear brothers and sisters. A very warm welcome to all of you to this ELTAI webinar 130th, organized by the English Language Teachers Association of India, ELTAI. I'm Rahul Kale, your host for today's exciting session. I'm from Pune chapter. First and foremost, on behalf of ELTAI, I extend my heartfelt wishes to all our viewers on this occasion of India's 76th Republic Day. Let us take a moment to honor the vision of our great leaders and celebrate the vibrant democracy that binds us all. Can we have a, a cheer for our democracy? Let's write Jai Hind in our chat box. Let's celebrate this victory of democracy. Amazing. Thank you so much for flooding in your responses. That's great. And again, wish you all a very happy Republic Day. Before we dive into today's engaging topic, let us take a moment to get acquainted with the vibrant world of ELTAI. For those of you who are new to our community or simply need a refresher, we have a brief video to showcase some of the incredible activities and initiatives ELTAI is involved in. Can we have the video, please? Wow, wasn't that inspiring? ELTAI's commitment to empowering English language educators across India, it's truly commendable. Now, we have a special and unique session planned, the first of its kind, an interactive interview with two inspiring Fulbright fellows. The topic of today's webinar is Growing Without Borders, Fulbright Fellowships and Beyond. And this session promises to be an insightful exploration of growth, opportunities, and global learning. Well, before we begin, here are a few important instructions for everyone for a smooth conduct of this webinar. Please post your questions in the chat box during this webinar. We encourage you to stay with us for the entire session. Certificates will be issued within 10 working days. Please avoid sending us follow emails immediately after the webinar to prevent delays. A feedback form will be shared at the end of this session. Please fill it out to receive your certificates. By the way, certificates will be issued only to the school students, UG and PG students, ELTAI members, and foreign nationals. We encourage PhD scholars to join ELTAI and take their memberships. Please check your inbox and spam folders for the certificate email. Keep a copy of the confirmation email immediately after submitting the feedback form for verification purposes. And we invite non-members to join ELTAI for accessing the resources, professional development programs, and many more peer networking activities. Now, please allow me to introduce our esteemed speakers for today's session. Our first speaker for today's session is Chintan Sonone. Chintan is a visiting faculty in English at Tolani Maritime Institute, Pune, with over 7 years of experience in English language teaching and teaching. He holds an MA in English literature from Symbiosis and a diploma in gender and cultural studies from Savitribai Phule Pune University. He has also done a diploma in creative writing from South Gujarat University. Chintan completed his bachelor's in English literature from South Gujarat University, where he graduated with the second highest rank in the university. He has worked with renowned institutions such as English Language Teaching Institute of Symbiosis, Symbiosis Institute of Technology, and Tolani Maritime Institute. He is a proud recipient of the prestigious Fulbright Foreign Language Teaching Assistant Fellowship for the year 2021-22, making him one of the youngest recipient of this honor and one of the few from Gujarat. Under this fellowship, he taught several courses and completed 4 audit courses at Florida International University. Chintan has presented 2 research papers titled The Changing Dynamics of English Language Comprehension and Writing and ELT through Performing Arts. He has also served as a resource person for more than 5 workshops and seminars and conducted 3 faculty development programs so far. Beyond academia, he has contributed to arts by producing music for 4 Gujarati dramas and 3 films from the Film and Television Institute of India, Pune. Chintan is now looking forward to extending his research into sociolinguistics and multilingual at leading US universities, aiming at deepening his understanding of language diversity and its social impacts. We welcome Chintan and thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Now, let me take this opportunity to introduce our second guest speaker, Ms. Riddhi Pankhadiwala. Riddhi has recently returned to India after successfully completing her Fulbright Language Teaching Assistant Fellowship at the South Asian Studies Council at Yale University. Currently, she serves as a visiting faculty in English and soft skills at Tolani Maritime Institute, Pune. Ms. Pankhadiwala holds dual master's degree, one in English literature from Symbiosis International University and other in Bharatnatyam. Additionally, she has a bachelor's degree in Indian classical music and a diploma in gender and cultural studies from Savitribai Phule Pune University. Her academic pursuits are centered around exploring the intersection of Indian mythology, performing arts, and aesthetics which she aims to integrate into her doctoral research. Riddhi, as a performer, has given more than 400 stage shows, including classical dance and musical programs. She has also worked as a lead vocalist with Film Training Institute of India, Pune, for the Multicam Music Project. With extensive experience as a medical and legal interpreter, Ms. Pankhadiwala is proficient in translating across more than 4 languages, particularly serving the Asian Indian community. She has also been an active member of the English Language Teachers Association of India, Pune chapter. During her tenure as a Fulbright Fellow, Ms. Pankhadiwala taught Hindi at Yale University, where she gained valuable insights into diverse cultural perspectives. Drawing from her international experiences, she is committed to bringing Eastern and Western cultures through performing arts and literature. Her goal is to innovate within the traditional pedagogical framework in India by introducing her interactive, practice oriented teaching, which are including art and literature. Well, we welcome Ms. Pankhadiwala to this webinar. Both our speakers, they bring a wealth of experience and insights. And I'm sure both of you are excited as I'm here to conduct this session. And I'm very excited to listen to their experiences. Now, let us begin this conversation. I'll be asking a series of questions to our speakers to dwell into their experiences and perspective. Additionally, I'll also be taking up questions from the audience to include them in the discussion. So without further ado, I'd like to invite our guest speakers, Chintan and Riddhi, to share their experiences. Now, the very first question that I'd like to ask Chintan and Riddhi, can you share your journey leading up to bringing award the Fulbright Fellowship? Yeah, over to you, Chintan and Riddhi.
Yeah, Riddhi ma'am, you can go first.
First of all, a very happy Republic Day to everyone and namaste. My name is Riddhi Pankhadiwala. I feel very humbled today to be in front of more than 141 amazing professors and teachers from across the India. And it gives me immense pleasure to be here sharing my insights and experience that I had while I was in the States. It was one of my first exposures to international borders and of course a teaching setup. So if I start about the journey in a nutshell, I started applying for this. Application in, let us say, July 2022, and it takes almost 1 year for the whole process to complete. By the August, you have to submit the application, and then further it goes into levels of scrutinization of the applications, and then interviews, and at the end you also have to give the competitive or maybe eligible. For the entrance, you have to give the examinations such as IELTS or TOEFL, and so on. They have many more options now as well. So after like a rigorous practice and research of 7 months, you finally get the chance to be there on the list. And finally, it's up to them to which university they would place you. So moving forward, I would make sure that, I try to share all the experiences that I had in the classroom or while interacting with international students, and how we built a community over the period of 2 semesters and 11 months in a nutshell. Yeah. But it was an amazing experience, and which has led me to further explorations of myself as well as of the content that I want to dive deeper into. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Riddhi, for sharing that. And of course, I'll ask you some more questions.
Yes.
But let me ask Chintan, what inspired you to apply for Fulbright Fellow Program, and how did you prepare for it? If you could tell us more about your journey.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that question. Rahul sir, am I audible to you?
Yes, but you're not visible.
Yeah,
Chintan,
I'm trying. There is some error with the laptop. It's not letting me show my face. But I think my voice is enough as of now. I'll try to put my videos on as well. But somehow it's not helping. So first of all, wishing all of you a very happy Republic Day. And second of all, I want to thank you, ELTAI in general, and Rahul Kare sir in particular, for having us here. It feels like it feels a very humbling of an experience of being here amidst the galaxy of intellectuals. That is, right now number is 145, which now when I say it's 146, so it keeps on growing. Also, I want to thank all of you for joining us on a Sunday evening, which is quite hustling, bustling for every household. Uh, Javed Akhtar says in one of his poetries that ये पंछी नदियां पवन के झोंके कोई सरहद ना इन्हें रोके सरहद इंसानों के लिए है. What I believe in this is gone are the times when science and commerce were the fields where participant or enthusiast professionals or scholars would think about going out doing their researches, and the opportunities only for STEM, that stands for science, technology, engineering, and maths. Gone are the days. Fulbright and DARD, such fellowships, they have a clear-cut vision of also letting research in general come out, be it from humanities, be it from English literature, be it from any aspect of academics. So the first and foremost, when Ritimam said that it's a rigorous process, even if it is rigorous, I would say it's easy. It's easy. So none of us over here should feel or should be made feel that going out there and facing the international crowd is anyway tougher. I am sure maybe one third or half of the part professors have already been there. So journey that inspired me over here is a little anecdote that I want to start with. So I had a friend of mine with whom, to be really honest, I might not have good terms at that point of time. This is one guy who one fine evening sends me a brochure which states USIEF, that stands for United States International Education Funds, and Fulbright, both of them in association with Indian government, coming up with 9-month non-degree Fulbright program. Now, he says that, Chintan bhai, I think you are a person who can do this. I was also taken aback. I looked at the brochure and it has a long list of eligibilities. But a good part was I was checking all the boxes. So I did not wait for another second. I just went to the website and inquired about more eligibilities, if any. So that's a quick little, communication with one of my friends who made me apply for this. So there are two learnings for me out of this. Number one, that it is, even if it is rigorous, it is easy. And number two, never have friends on bad terms, because anyone can help you at any point of time. And to be adding more to this, after that human being sending it to me, I have not received this brochure from any other friends or intellectuals or academicians from my circle. So, which comes with a third learnings, that we have enough intellectuals, academicians, and research scholars in our country, but before these fellowships reach to outer part of Delhi, it's already late. Now, I'm not saying that Delhi fetches more of the participants. What I'm saying is the center of education, because it is quick enough for the Delhi academic circle to know about these fellowships, most of us remain unaware of the opportunities that are lying. So these were a couple of reasons that I made sure that I apply faster, which ended up being me one of the youngest professors to board the plane under this fellowship. So I'm really happy that I could do this. But as Rahul Kade sir had already mentioned, that we do want to extend this beyond a certain participant list. So that's the goal today.
And sir, I would like to add to this that
Yes.
Chintan sir, after his friend shared this poster with him, he continued it with the flag. And one of the reasons that I could go to the United States was because of him, because he was actively there to guide me. And it was because of him that I got to know about the fellowship. And it was under his guidance that I could actually get started with the process and the knowledge that came for particular application that came from him. So thank you so very much, sir. I take this opportunity to thank you.
Oh, that's
Amazing.
yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for inspiring each other. And I'm sure you will be inspiring many members today who will be probably thinking about applying for this fellowship. Amazing. And of course, we do have a lot of turning points in our lives like that. So we'd certainly like to know more about how did you approach this process? How did you prepare for this? If you could share your insights, how did you prepare for it? That will be very nice.
Sir, I think I'll just go first and then I would ask Chintan sir to add to it.
Yeah.
So the process starts, I think, in the March, where the official email comes that the applications are open. And as I said, the application is a long one. So it actually takes more than 1.5 months for you to get done with the whole uh, completion of the application, which includes 3 LORs from respective, LORs from the respective field that you belong to. You also have to submit 3 comprehensive essays which talk about your research, your methodologies that you are going to apply there in the US classroom setups. And this fellowship, I would like to say, does not only talk about how you would be working there as an instructor or a teacher, but it also demands great knowledge of your culture and how you can successfully be the Indian ambassador for your own country when you go there, because you're representing your own country when you reach there, and there are some exchange programs that you actively have to be part of. So you ought to have some strategies when you reach there. And maybe you have to come up with many plans where you'd be able to organize events which would showcase your culture, and it would also ask you to interrogate strategies which would welcome international students to be the part of the same event, as well as Asian Americans or South Asian community with you. So it's a long process. It starts with completing your application. And as I said, 3 essays talking about your methodologies, your plan to be cultural ambassador, as well as the third essay. And then after that, you have to submit 3 LORs. And that's how the first part of the application is done, which I would say laid at least 40% of the weightage of the whole process in general. So once you're done with this application process, I think the major part of your work is done. And along with that, I always recommend this to all the people who want to apply, that along with the application writing, you should also start researching more about the language that you're going to teach in the US university. So for me, it was Hindi. And as I have done my bachelor's and master's in English language, I always had lesser exposure with another language, which is Hindi. So for 4 months, I every day, I used to write at least 8 to 9 pages in Hindi. That was very basic preparation that I started from, maybe reading 2 or 3 literature books, which would serve as a reference point for me when I go there and I want to teach something, because it's a mixed bag of students in the classroom when you get there. So exposure with the same language that you're going to teach is something that you should simultaneously start working on. And then the next process is, when you're selected, you are called for the interview to the Delhi office, and where the interview runs for 2 days. First day, you have to appear for the interview in Hindi language, where you're not supposed to speak English at all, because that's your language and you're going to teach that there in the States. And the other day, you have to appear for the whole interview in English language, where the panelists of 8 to 9 people would ask you different questions about your experience, about your plans, your methodologies, and how you would survive there in a different setup. What is your tolerance? How are you prepared to be there? And what would you do once you're there to keep yourself up, because you're away from your country for 10 long months. So that's how it is. And then it goes the final process that once you're selected, you have to appear for TOEFL. So these are only 3 basic steps. After that, you have to just wait until you get the email that you're selected, and you're just on the toes until the April or May, once you get the email. So in a nutshell, that's how it works. 8-9 long month of waiting, application, researching, and practicing. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Riddhi, for giving us that overview and sharing your experiences.
Rahul sir, can I add to it?
Yes, please, Chintan.
So it is comprehensively Extremely sorry, I'm a little under the weather. It's beautifully and comprehensively told by Riddhi ma'am. I would just want to add a couple of things. Number one is it's very important for you to have a knack of cultural activities and cultural identity with you, because your role as a Fulbright fellow is are three things. Number one, you are also a cultural ambassador. So it's not only about you, especially for the fellowship that I was doing. Also, we both were awarded with that. So that was cultural ambassadorship. Number two, you also have to come up with ideas on arranging academic educational fairs because we have to understand that how West works, or especially how American universities work, it's a bit different from the way the rest of the universities work. So they have a very different approach to teaching their participants and getting those admissions done. So it's a lot about how creatively you can tell the things, not only in the personal interview, but also in your writings. So to tell you in gist, it's 3 essays. Number one. Number two, it's 2-day interviews. And number three, yeah, in a gist, it's like number one, 3 essays. Each essay is of more than 300 words. Number two is 2 days personal interview, one especially for your proficiency in Hindi. And number two, you as a human being, including your English language capacities and capabilities. And number three, is your approach towards teaching and administration and counseling in general. Now, you do not have to be afraid, because this is just for foreign language teaching assistant fellowship. We are yet to come to various different fellowships that are already available. By the end of this webinar, I'll practically go to the website and show you how it works. So no issues at all regarding that.
Amazing. Thank you, Chintan, for sharing your views here and your experiences. Amazing. Now, I'd like to ask you some of your most memorable experiences or the projects during this Fulbright journey that you have undergone. Yes, Kritik, what were your most memorable experiences there?
Sure. So there were ample of opportunities given to me as a teaching assistant at Yale, where the free hand was given for me to organize the event, as well as to make sure while I organize those events, I am keeping a center point of teaching Hindi language through literature or maybe through context. So it was a contextual learning. So very first instance which held very memorable for me was performing at one of the most beautiful halls of Yale University. When we talk about Yale, it's just like Hogwarts, that Harry Potter theme. So it in itself, it's such a beautiful place for any artist or a performer to be at. And with that very cold weather and with its own beauty that New Haven has, I finally had the opportunity to perform Bharatnatyam for one of the biggest South Asian events called Roshni that happens in fall semester. So I decided to present a piece which talks about a very famous folk tale, which is Kalinga Nartan, where Lord Krishna defeats Kali Nag, and it's the victory of good over the evil. So I had that opportunity where I could perform and talk about the culture that we have in South India as well as in North India. Because I'm a Bharatnatyam dancer, I have some sort of knowledge about how South Indian music and dance works. And I also, as I have done my bachelor's in North Indian classical music, I could also talk about the difference between the both. And at the same time, how the Indian culture in general is very diverse, but at some point it intermingles each other. So it started with a brief discussion where I talked about how folk tales are one major part of our identities and our beliefs and our faiths, and that was one opportunity. And the other very beautiful opportunity that I got was that I wanted to have a very heart-to-heart discussion with my students, where I decided to organize one fine evening, which was just charcha over chai. So it was,
Okay.
yes, and I decided to welcome all my students to present whatever they could write so far in Hindi or Urdu, and I myself decided to perform some ghazals and some thumris or basic bandishes, which talk about different accents of Hindi and how Hindi and Urdu, both these languages, have influence over each other. So that was that other event which asked me to polish my administrative skills, because it starts from booking the hall, arranging food for all the students, the arrangements for sitting, and then the music system, and getting the approval for the budget, things as such. So when you go there, I think it's a holistic approach that you have to inculcate, because that's how you are able to survive there. You have, like, maybe you have a lot of plans, but you must need to know what is the way to organize it, and what is the strategy, what are actually steps. So that's those are two major events where I could actually teach them differently, and which was sort of exploration that I did in terms of training them. Yep. So that was it.
Amazing. It was very nice to listen to that experience here. And I'm sure it must be a very proud feeling that you're representing your country, you're representing your culture, and you're talking about it and making the rest of the world aware of it. Amazing. That was very nice. Yes, Chintan, did you also have the similar experiences there?
Yeah, thank God now my camera is working. Anyway, I was wearing a blazer and there was no use of it. So yeah, I'll tell you, there can be a lot of experiences that we can talk about here. And it's very tough to pick one. However, I'll tell you my second day at Florida International University, that is Miami.
Mhm.
That is southernmost city. So no one speaks English there. Everyone speaks Spanish. So my ability to speak in Gujarati, Hindi, English, Marathi, a little bit of Urdu, it was all in vain. At times you feel like a fish out of water. So it was my second day, and my supervisor, he takes me to my office and he says, okay, this is your office, Chintan, go ahead. I must name him. He's one of my mentors, Dr. Iqbal Akhtar. Iqbal Akhtar tells me that, okay, go ahead, I'll see you tomorrow. I said, okay, if you're going to see me tomorrow, what am I going to do today? Like nothing special, you just get acquainted with the office, go have good coffees, have a look at the library. And he often said that the most important location in the whole university is the library, be it any university. That was something he believed in. So the next day I went there, he's like, okay, sir, where is my classroom? Because the name of the fellowship is Fulbright Language Teaching Assistant. So I am expected to go to the class and teach. He said, you are not teaching this semester. I'm like, what are you saying? Like, no, you come to my office now. So I went to his office. He shows me this piled up books. These books are collected in 1864 from the island of Mopasa. And these books are written in Gujarati language. I mean, the transcript is Gujarati. These books are actually not in Gujarati, but only the transcripts are Gujarati. So the book is in Khojki.
Okay.
Now he wants me to read this. Now I can read it, but not understand it. It was a very foreign experience to me. I had never experienced anything of this kind. He said, okay, whatever you are speaking, I'm able to understand. Because he knew Khojki. I said, what does this mean? He said, it means that you are brought here to do a geographical investigation of a Khojki community during 1864 on Mopas Island. I was taken aback. Like, what to do? He's like, that's why you're not teaching this side. So this was the same story next semester as well. I thought, where I'll be going to the class and teaching. He brings me another piles of books. He says, go ahead. This is what you're brought to do here. What did I learn out of it? What I learned out of it is not all the time the fellowship that you're getting will let you do what you really want to do. It's this kind of fellowships are actually pulling you out of your comfort zones and pushing you into some world which you might be not aware of, but are capable of. So when the supervisor had my profile with him, he had 5 different profiles, but he chose my profile only because I knew theater, music, and Gujarati. Now, when I asked him at the end of the first semester, he said that I could have easily chosen any other profile, but only because your attribute of writing, speaking, listening, and Gujarati as your mother tongue, is something you have brought here. The other learning from this is that when you're making an application, try to put almost everything that you're familiar of. Even you knowing the art of making a rangoli can help you at some point of time.
Amazing.
So this is something very important. The little nitties and gritties, which you think are not important, but in outer world, local is global. Gone are the days when they would focus on some global themes and then research on it. No, if you're presenting a folklore from Adivasi community from Gujarat, they are more interested than you talking about some literature in general.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Chintan, for making us aware of all those things. So before applying for these kind of fellowships, we need to know our own selves better. We need to know our own culture. Amazing. And since you mentioned that your experience was very much different from what Riddhi had, now could you elaborate more on what are the different types of fellowships are available? If you could,
Yeah. So,
show us a few things on the screen, that will be
okay, sure. Give me a second.
Yeah.
I would now request all the participants to have a closer look at the screen, because this is something which is going to stay with you. Also, at the end of the session, we are going to give you a link where there is a downloadable PDF already available. You can go to this link, get all the basic information, and all these website links are already available in this PDF file. And whatever I'm showing you right now can easily be visited by you. So
And as Riddhi
maybe,
rightly mentioned, that this is the right period for applying for this fellowship, right?
yes.
The notification must be out by now.
Are you able to see my screen, sir?
Yes.
Is it visible?
Yes. It's visible now.
Okay, fine. So you see here I have gone to usief.org.in. You can also write USIEF. Now, sir, at any point of time, if my screen is not visible, just let me know.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, if you go down, you can find tabs like Home, About USIEF, News and Events, Useful Links, and Contact Us. You do not have to go there. You can simply come to Fulbright Fellowships. Here also you can see Study in the US, International Institutional Collaboration. Now, study in the US is for your younger colleagues or your kids, if you have any, or your siblings. You can go here for international studies in the US. You can go to Fulbright Fellowship. This is our zone. You click there. When you come to Fulbright Fellowships, you can see fellowships for Indian citizens and fellowships for US citizens. Here, this is a little brief introduction of what these fellowships are made for. I click fellowships for Indian citizens. We all fall under, if we come from humanity background, please pay attention here. If we fall under humanity background, we fall under Fulbright Nehru Fellowships. Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister during his term. He made sure that such fellowships exist in our country. Actually, these fellowships started back in 1946 by a senator called Fulbright himself. Here is Fulbright Kalam Climate Fellowship. This is for environmentalists and science-oriented professors. So if you have any senior colleagues there, you can refer this as well. Now, this includes student awards, it includes student and teacher awards, and professional development programs. These are 3 types. I click Fulbright Nehru Fellowships. Now you can see there are 4 available here. If you are someone, a student of bachelor's who is doing a graduation, master's fellowship is something that is going to help you. You simply click down here, you find all the eligibilities and all the requirements that you want to have. These are the segments that you are allowed to come to: economics, environmental science. So in general, everything is available. I will not read and waste our time. This is how to apply. These are timelines. And these are nomination process and important information. This is for masters. Now, this is Fulbright.
Sorry to disturb you. Some participants are saying that your screen is not visible. Probably they have joined us from mobile phone. I request those who have joined us from mobile phone, please swipe your screen. Probably you will find the screen share by Chintan.
Should I
Please
continue?
check all the screens on your mobile phone. If you have joined us from laptop, probably you will not face any issues. The screen is visible. Yes, Chintan, please go ahead.
Yeah, you click the next one, which is currently I can vouch for this fact that a lot of us are currently pursuing their PhDs. They have already applied for it. Please remember this. You do not have to apply for a US university for your whole program. Okay, number one. If you want to, you can. Now that's a different process if you want to, which I am currently trying to go into. However, let's assume that Mr. Dash has joined a PhD program under XYZ University. Now, under this fellowship, sorry, you are offered a 9-month program, which is called Nehru Doctoral Research Fellowship. Under this program, you can go to the US and do your research for 9 months continuously at all the expenses of US government. I repeat. So let's say you have applied for a PhD program under some university and you want to go out. So the degree that you get is from your own university, but for 9 to 10 months, you can go to different parts of the US, wherever your research aligns and you want to go, and propose your research areas to this fellowship, to this firm, that is USIAF, and they allow you to go to the US and do your research there. I hope you understood what I'm trying to say. You do not have to pay for anything in this. Then there is Fulbright Nehru Academic and Professional Excellence Fellowship. Those who have done the researches and trainings and they want to go for professional excellence, that is, you are not given any degree. Please let me remind you, these are non-degree programs. And then there is Fulbright Nehru Postdoctoral Research Fellowships. Now, to all the intellectuals and my seniors who have already done their PhDs and now going for postdoctoral research fellowship, this is a program for you. These are 4 things that fits completely to all the needs that currently we are all audience for. The I will put this link there on the PDF. I already put it there. You can go and check it there. But this is for someone who is doing an MA in English, a PhD in English. For example, you're doing an MA in English. The way I was doing it at Symbiosis, it was my 3rd semester, and the minimum requirement was to complete your post graduation. My interviews were going to be scheduled only a week after my result. So I had told them that I guarantee you I'll pass with good scores. After me passing that degree, my master's, they allowed me to face the interview. So for MA, it's FLTA. For PhD, I already talked about it. I hope that serves the purpose, Rahul sir.
Yes, Chintan. Thank you so much for showing us the website and telling us more about different types of fellowships. Yes, Riddhi, would like to share something?
Yes, sir. So I just would like to add to this. I mean, sir has given the list of all the fellowships that we have under the umbrella term Fulbright, but particularly about the teaching assistantship fellowship that we applied for, I would like to tell you that the whole application is very much there on the same website, and you'd be able to submit it from the same website. So your essays, your LORs, everything has to be submitted from the website, and you do not email personally to the Fulbright email address given on the website. You do not do that. For LORs as well, you have to actually write the name of the professors or HODs who are going to write the LORs for you. Then in the application, on the application page itself, along with their email addresses, and you just hit the button, and then the request email will go to your professors who are going to write the LORs for you. And that's how you submit the LORs. So it is not to be personally sent to any of the email addresses. So please make sure that all the essays and LORs are submitted from the application, or else your applications wouldn't be considered. So this is something to keep in mind. Yeah.
Amazing.
Rahul sir, I
Can you
want to
also
add
tell
to
us the process of getting LORs? Because the professor also needs to know you better, right? So how do you manage to get that?
Sure, sir. So as we need 3 LORs, what I did at my time was that I wanted to show in my application 3 different sides of me. One
Mhm.
as a student, another as a teacher, and third as a as a performer or as an artist. So I decided to go to my respected professors, senior most professors, who knew me very well. And I always put pressure on this particular that a thing that you only go to the professors who know you very well and who knows your skill very well. So what happens is
Yes.
that while they write the LOR for you, it's very authentic. And I would also say that, in a few cases, what we do is that, we just request the professor and we say that, we'll give you the letter, you just submit it. Never ever do that, because y- you never know that when someone writes the letter for you, what is that third party image that portrays in the letter, and when you write for your own self, how it portrays. So I would always want to show it through them, what are my skills. So in
Amazing.
that case, I have Zien sir here, and I'm honestly very grateful to him. I can't thank him enough for writing one of the LORs for me, and which did wonders. I think it was just because of his efforts that I was, I mean, at least considered. And the other
Yes.
professors for sure, one of which was my faculty professor in Symbiosis Arts College, which is Shweta Kapoor, and third being Imran Surti, who is my mentor from Surat when I did my bachelor's from there. So that's
Yes.
how it worked. But yeah, 3 LORs from the faculties who would be able to show your different sides as student, teacher, performer, or any other skills that you have, so that
Oh,
your whole image is very much there in the LORs, and you do not have to personally write anything else. Yes.
amazing. Thank you, Riddhi, for sharing that. And of course, as you rightly mentioned, Professor Z.N. Patil, sir, he has always been a mentor and very big support for the budding teachers and students like us. Yes, Chintan, how was your experience?
Yeah, it was incredible, and I was going to say the same thing. Going to say the same thing. I had written Dr. Zedin Patel sir's name over here. Uh, I would want to not only thank him but show the highest amount of gratitude. Uh, Saying thank you in words is the least I could do right now. Not to forget, we also have Dr. Atul Patil sir joined here. I had recommended him to write a recommendation for me, an LOR for me. Why? Uh, because he holds a very prominent position in academia. Number one. So while
Mhm.
making someone your LOR resource, you have to make sure that he not only knows you well, but he is easily approachable. Number one. Number two, holds good and prominent position in the academia. And number three, has a valid institutional email ID.
Mhm.
Because they are not going to walk to someone saying chintankishore@gmail.com. It has to be something which is a formal institutional email ID. That's number one thing. So while I was recommending, while I was finding for my resource people, I made sure that I get it written from Dr. Zedin Patil sir. Like, no need to explain why. Number two, I get it written from Dr. Atul Patil sir. Again, no need to explain the kind of prominence he has in academia. And number three, I made sure that I get it written from one of my colleagues, that is Vedant Kulkarni. So Vedant sir talked about how I am as a working professor, how I work. That's what Vedant sir did. Atul Patil sir told about what's my theater and artistic side. And
Mhm.
Dr. Zaran Patil sir talked about him as as a mentor to me and me being his mentee. One most important thing to note down over here for all the participants is you do not have to pay a single penny.
Oh, that's amazing.
Starting from your application to coming back to your city, including your cab charges to your home or petrol charges to your home, everything is covered. Imagine if you're going
Amazing.
to Delhi for your interviews, you're already selected there. They pay you your third tier AC fare.
Amazing.
Yes. They pay your TOEFL fees, they pay your flights, they arrange a taxi for you to be at the campus. Also on campus, if you tell someone you are a Fulbright fellow, that is one thing I think which is our Indian academia is not really aware of, the prominence of Fulbright. If you go to a US university, any university, public, community college, anything, and you tell them that you're a Fulbright fellow, they'll see you with a very, very, very respectable vision, a very respectable eye. Like you're respected a lot there as a Fulbright fellow because there is a lot of prominence. That's why I'm telling it's very important for us to crack these fellowships. When you come back, the network that you have expanded works for you. It's everything
Amazing.
free. The most and foremost important thing, it's free. They pay you salary, they pay your food, they pay your rent, everything. Also, there are 4 courses that you can do as an audit. All of them are free. Anyway, their charges are for per semester, one course is more than $5,000-6,000. Imagine they're spending more than $45,000 on you per participant. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Sir, just to add,
Yes.
as we all know that it's a highly competitive fellowship. There are over 140 applicants who only apply for FLTA-ship. And out of that 150 applications, only 23 to 25 are selected for the application round. And out of them, only 9 to 11 students are selected to go to the state for that particular year. Now, I just want to tell each and everybody that it isn't like that you applied for one time and you are not selected, you stop there. Please. I should give my own example. The very first time I applied, I was not selected.
Oh,
It's only a constant practice and the efforts that you have to put. I was selected the second time, and that's where actually I understood that what were the sides where actually I could not work in the very first go. So please apply until you get into it. And there is nothing to get demotivated about. It's just the less number of seats, because of which we are getting lesser chances to go there. So apply until you know you are selected. That's the only thing I.
And you never know, you can be picked up from the first very round. Like when I interviewed for it, I had just passed out. It was my first ever application. I did not know anything. I had no support. However, there were a couple of professors who are alumni, who are ready to help. So it's free counseling for you, free networking for you. You'll always
amazing.
find.
Yeah. By the way, is there any age limit for this, or can anybody apply?
There is not a particular age limit to it, but there is a bar that they have set. The bar is that teaching experience should not be of more than 5 years for this fellowship.
Okay.
Right? Because the aim of the fellowship that we got was to hone our teaching skills. So if you've made more than 5 years of practice, it means you're already set and you have developed certain methods. So it is very tough for you to, change it. But yeah, then I showed you 5 different fellowships, which might not have a lot of competition. Right? There is not a lot of competition for the other fellowships. So that those can be done. So there is no age limit at all. If there is someone who started at the age of 45 but has only 2 years of teaching, can also apply for this.
Yes,
amazing.
sir. Because there is a very logical reason to it, sir, that when someone is working for, let us say, 15 to 20 years already as an assistant professor, the expectation comes that they will get to teach in the United States. But this fellowship particularly talks about teaching assistantship. And if we understand this concept well, it only means we are assisting the professors there. So we get to co-teach, or we get to look after the other things required to help the professor there. So that's why teaching assistantship, this particular fellowship only is for the teachers who have been in the field for, let us say, 3-4 years at the beginning. Yeah.
Thank you so much for clarifying that doubt. And there is a wonderful question by Mr. Kumaraswamy here. He says, I'm working in a private school as a school teacher, and he has completed MA in ELT with 50% marks. So he wants to know whether he will be eligible for applying for Fulbright fellowship. So is there any kind of filter like that students over 60% or 70% only should be able to apply? Is there any criteria like that?
I don't think there is any criteria like that. Rather, I would tell the gentleman who asked this question, it's the perfect time for apply for this. I have included that in my presentation. There are two fellowships coming, and the deadline for one is 7th March and the other is 26th March. The one that is applicable to you is 7th March, especially for primary school teachers. If you're a librarian, if you're a primary school teacher, and if you are a generous human being who would want to spread a word about it and let the others also go for these fellowships, right? So I think it is really important for people to know that there are fellowships, even if you are not applicable for this. I'm extremely sorry if I sound a bit off track, but this is really important. This is one major reason why Fulbright doesn't have a lot of reach in our territories. So there are two fellowships coming up, and I'm sure, sir, because you have an ME in ELT, that's gonna really, really help. So please do not see it as a percentage. Please see it as, because it's a very recent post-graduation degree that is launched in our country. I think there are very lesser participants having this degree, and that's why lesser competition. So consider yourself as a lucky one and apply for this as soon as possible.
Wonderful. There is Mr. Narang who has asked that he has 20 years of experience. Can he apply for a postdoc Fulbright fellowship? Yes, Ritik, would you like to answer?
Certainly, sir. So as Chintan sir showed that in the website, if you go to the Nehru Fellowship, you'd be able to see that there is a particular fellowship for postdoc professors. And sir, you can certainly apply for this application, but you just would want to go there and check what is the deadline for that, because all the fellowships have different deadlines. As for example, sir rightly said that for primary teachers, the time is close. For teaching assistantships, it is in the month of August, that the deadline is around first or second week of August. So I think just we need to check the final deadline, and sir, you should be able to go for it without a doubt. Yes, sir.
Amazing.
Also, Rahul sir, the only secret recipe is keep tapping the website. Keep going to the website. Because every now and then you will find fellowships coming up. Just go for it. You apply for it twice, thrice. By fourth time, you will come to know what are the areas of improvement you have to work about. It's very, very easy website. It doesn't have a very tough interface and all that stuff.
Also, sir, there are contact details available for all the alumni on the website itself. So if you want more details about what should be included in the application, how you should proceed, you will find all the alumni who have applied so far with their detailed profile, like what they do and their email addresses. So you can definitely connect with them and understand how you'd be able to make your application stand different from the others. So it's there.
Amazing. So free guidance is available. A lot of support is available from the alumni. Amazing. That's great. Yes, Chintan.
Also, the fact that some of the identities like us, we might feel that I'm not comfortable going to this part, that part. I don't fit into this. For example, there are people who do not like a lot of cold. Like, for example, I am someone who loves beaches. I want to go to good beaches. So when I made my application, I had said that I want to go to highly ethnic group of people city. They sent me to Miami. So they're very flexible about it. Like, it should match with the supervisor's requirement, and it should also match your requirement. Someday, if we get time, we can talk more about it. It's a beautiful but yet complicated structure that you have to figure out. For example, if there are 5 applications, so one supervisor receives 5 suitable applications, and one applicant receives 3 suitable universities.
Oh, wow.
This is beautiful to understand. The supervisor prioritizes his first 3. And the applicant prioritizes his 1, 2, 3. And then they make a match. And then you're given a university. So it's a beautiful thing to understand, and very revealing to know how US and other Western countries function. They are very flexible to adhere to their norms.
And just be ready for some anxieties coming along, because you never know which university you're going to. Until the June end, you're still kept in that secret zone that which university you're going to go to. So after you're selected and you finally get the email that, okay, you're selected for Yale University. After that, you can actually start preparing for your luggage, for the things that you would require. So it's a kind of an enchanting thing. You just keep on waiting, and one fine day you get that email. So yeah, you have to be very prepared about it. You can only prioritize the universities when it comes to you, or when the email comes to you, and it's finally their call, and the supervisor's actually priority of taking you to that university. So you can just pray whichever university you want to go to, and it's ultimately a lot of assessment and evaluation that they have at the back of their process, and that's what decides which university you will go to.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing those experiences here. But then one prominent question that I would like to ask both of you: how has your Fulbright experience contributed to your professional role or your aspirations for your career?
Sir, would you like to go first, Chintan sir? Okay. Uh, sir, let me be very honest. Life changes 360-degree around when you come back from the States. I would say I was an introvert. I still am. But what taught me when I was in the States, what actually this experience taught me was how you can actually play the role, how you can sometimes be ambivert or extrovert, and then shift, because at the end of the day, you are alone there. You got to find your circle where you feel relatable. You got to do networking, which actually does not make you feel fish out of the pond. You constantly have to do the networking. You actually have to find the opportunities where you'd be able to go to the good conferences, because US, for I should say, for linguistics, they have got some good great sort of seminars and conferences that you can do, including AAAL, which I got the chance, because Yale, of course. Now this one thing is also very important to understand, that you will go to the university, and then the university will also have some funds for your growth, personal development. So you can use that fund to visit to different conferences and attend those, and understand how linguistic works on the global uh, base, right? So I went to AAAL, which is American Association for Applied Linguistics, and another was NCLTICL, which is National Council of Less Commonly Taught Languages like Yoruba, and maybe some languages which really are not in practice a lot. The conference is dedicated to such teachers, where they can go and present their papers. So that was the experience that I got, because Yale was there to also fund for me and allow me to move and learn. So the networking is something that you do during these conferences, the seminars that you attend. I found one of the mentors there. His name is Davesh Soneji, who works in the one of the Ivy League universities as a professor. And after a long wait, I actually found a mentor whose uh, research field is completely like mine. So I had the relief only after I did this fellowship, that okay, I have someone to mentor me. So networking is something that you would want to do, so that once you come back, you still have opportunities if you are applying for PhD programs, or if you want any help for material or further knowledge. So that is something that you do. And as soon as you come back to India, your view changes, sir. You are more tolerant, flexible towards the humanity that is around you. You become more human than you ever were. You learn some tricks and traits to survive. So you go into that survival mode, and a lot of things change. And then, most importantly, what has changed for me is that it made me more aspirational after I came back. Earlier, I was someone who would, take a back. But now that I have a ground experience, I'm more open towards try out different universities to apply for PhD applications, or just write an email. I don't know even if the reply would come or not, but I would still write an email to the faculty, hoping that I would get an answer. And they are very kind, all the faculties. So that networking is something that pushes you to do more. And the opportunities, of course, we are prioritized as Fulbright fellows once we come back. So you have more opportunities in front of you. And actually, you can pick and choose which one you want to go for. Yes, sir.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Chintan and Riddhi, for telling us how this is a very, although it is a very rigorous process, but then it is a life-changing process. Thank you so much for giving us an overview of that. And one last question to both of you is that what advice would you like to give to someone who is aspiring to become a Fulbright Fellow? A quick advice from both of you.
Yeah, I would just tell you one thing. Post US, the food tastes better. Okay,
Okay,
you come to know that you are a real Indian when you come back, not when you go there.
amazing.
So just out of fun. And number two, the
Mhm.
classroom starts looking bigger, and they start looking overcrowded, because now we have a habit of teaching, smaller crowds. You are technologically equipped. You are completely connected to what you want to say internationally. What I advise,
Amazing.
I'm not. I'm saying I would say that I'm not yet in a position to advise anyone, but I would say it's easy. The only thing that we have to keep in mind is it's easy. And what Rahul sir also pointed out, Rahul sir being one of my mentors, he said a beautiful line. You have to know yourself before you apply. You know,
Great.
very beautiful self check is very precise self check, or even a simple SWOT analysis can take you one step closer. Not only academic, but also extra co-curricular activities, and all that stuff. So just it's easy. You just have to keep knocking that door. That's it. It's a simple advice from my end.
Amazing. Thank you. Yes, Riddhi, a quick advice from you.
Sir, yes. I would say that if you are partially known of yourself, let us say you do not know your skills at the best, I think this
Mhm.
opportunity will also bring you to the point where you will understand how you want to, take all your skills and come up with some research topic which is not very common. So I would say while you're there, try your hands out on all the different activities, all that you think you would want to. Just don't think a lot about it. Once you're selected and when you're there, just try your hands out on even a very small thing that you know. Maybe it can be, making some simple designs as well. And it can maybe, singing being a very mediocre singer, because you never know, you meet a faculty there and who would tell you that, I have some sort of interest in the same field, and let us do some research together. So that
Amazing.
you just have to be open to all the opportunities that will come there. As for example, I never knew that I have administrative skills, but when I went there, I was given the opportunity to be a part of education fair. Now it is nothing else but you promote the credit courses which are there in your own council or in your department. So what happens is that you the previous night you actually make notes, you see, like, what are the things that are there in every course. What it does is it makes you very flexible of adapting last minute changes, and how to actually also deliver the same thing when you are on the podium or on the stage. So be very open to it. And one very important thing while writing your application, please make sure that you are not copy pasting it from some random AIs, and make it very own, make it authentic, and sound as you are. You do not need to sound very scholarly. You do not need to sound what you're not. Whatever you are, is sufficient. Only condition is that you are able to apply that and you're willing to apply it. So
Amazing. Thank you, Riddhi and Chintan, for such wonderful discussion here. Although due to paucity of time, we'll have to put an end to this discussion. I see a lot of questions flooding in the chat box. I'm really very sorry. I would not be able to take all those questions. But then, certainly, you can get in touch with Chintan and Riddhi. They are approachable and very friendly, and they'll be very happy to guide you, I'm sure. Am I
Rahul sir?
correct, Riddhi and Chintan?
Yes, sir. Completely. Rahul sir,
anytime.
I also pasted the link for the document that I've created in the
Yes.
chat box. You can easily go there and click it, and you will find even more information about this.
Yes, thank you so much, Chintan, for doing that. And I hope all of you will definitely check all those links and you will think about applying for one of those scholarships out there. So, friends, what an inspiring and thought provoking session that we have had today. On behalf of ELTAI, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Chintan Sonone and Riddhi Pankadiwala for sharing their incredible insights and wonderful answering those questions. Thank you so much for all your insights there.
Thank you so much, sir.
Well, friends, behind the scenes, there is a dedicated team that works tirelessly to ensure the success of ELTAI webinars. I thank the seniors, mentors for their valuable inputs. Special thanks to Kavin. He is the backbone of organizing team for his hard work and commitment to organizing these webinars. And last but not least, a heartfelt thank you to all the participants who have joined us from abroad and of course all corners of India. We have started this 2025 on a very good note, and I'm sure this session has inspired you to do something and set a target for 2025. Well, friends, please don't forget to fill out the feedback form. Certificates will be issued only to school, UG and PG students, LTI members, and foreign nationals. Ladies and gentlemen, before I wrap up, a few more announcements. Please mark your calendars and save the date for the next insightful webinar. The next webinar will be conducted on Sunday, February 23rd at 4:30. And the topic is Holistic Approach in English Language Development. And it will be presented by yet another Fulbright scholar, Dr. Shivaji Deshmukh, who is a ZP school teacher in Maharashtra. The registration details and more information is available in the chat box and also on our website. Please remember that your active participation is not only encouraged, but it is essential to success of our webinars. So let's continue with this journey of professional development together. Now it's time for a group photograph. I request everyone to turn their videos on. Let's capture this moment together. I request all the participants to turn their videos on.